There was once an old monk who lived high in the mountains, far away from crowded cities and glowing screens. People said he was strange because he owned nothing except a wooden bowl, a candle, and a small notebook filled with lessons from his life. But every year, travelers climbed the mountain just to sit beside him for a few minutes. Not because he was powerful, not because he was famous, but because when he spoke, people felt something they had forgotten inside themselves. One evening, a young man arrived at the monastery. His face looked tired even though he was young. His hands shook constantly, searching for a phone that had no signal in the mountains. He sat before the monk and asked, "Master, why does life feel empty even when I have everything?" The monk smiled gently and poured tea into 2 cups. But he kept pouring even after the cup overflowed. Tea spilled onto the table and onto the floor. The young man quickly shouted, "Stop! The cup is full." The monk nodded slowly. "So is your mind." Silence filled the room. The monk then looked outside at the dark sky and said something the young man would never forget. The world today teaches people how to earn money, but not how to sleep peacefully. It teaches people how to get attention, but not how to understand themselves. Everyone is becoming connected to the world while becoming strangers to their own soul. The young man lowered his eyes because deep inside, he knew it was true. The monk continued, "When I was young, my teacher told me something important. He said, 'One day humanity will have endless information but very little wisdom.' At that time, I laughed because I could not imagine such a world. But now I see people who can answer any question in seconds. Yet they do not know why they are unhappy." The candle beside them flickered softly. The monk picked it up and said, "Look carefully at this flame. Fire can warm a home or burn it down. The mind is the same. Technology is the same. Tools are not evil. But a life without awareness is dangerous." The young man asked quietly, "Then what is the answer?" The monk smiled again. "The answer is not to run away from the world. The answer is to stop running away from yourself." For the first time in many years, the young man sat without speaking. No music, no scrolling, no distractions, just silence. And strangely, it felt uncomfortable. The monk noticed this and laughed softly. People fear silence because silence introduces them to the person they have been avoiding. Then he told the young man a story. There was once a king who owned everything he desired. Gold, armies, servants, power. Yet every night he could not sleep. One day he met a monk sitting peacefully under a tree with nothing. The king became angry and asked, "How can you be happy with so little?" And the monk replied, "Because I stopped measuring life by what I own and started measuring it by what owns me." The young man listened carefully. The monk leaned closer and spoke in a calm voice. Most people spend their whole lives collecting things, followers, money, approval, status. But very few people collect moments of stillness, wisdom, gratitude, or truth. And in the end, those are the only things that matter. Outside, the wind moved through the trees like a whisper from another world. The monk looked at the young man one final time and said, "One day, machines may become smarter than humans. They may speak faster, think faster, and work faster. But never forget this: wisdom is not speed. Wisdom is awareness. Wisdom is knowing when to speak, when to let go, when to forgive, and when to sit quietly with your own heart." The young man felt tears forming in his eyes, though he did not fully understand why. Maybe because nobody had spoken to him like this before. Maybe because deep down he missed himself. As the night grew darker, the monk closed his notebook and whispered, "The last human teacher will not disappear because of technology. He will disappear when people stop listening."